What's up YouTube, Mambuna Marcus here. As you can see in front of me, this is my 15-gallon quarantine aquarium. Recently I did a couple unboxing videos and these are the fish from them. I would say it's been about 4 to 5 weeks, so this is the time period where I like to make sure everything's doing well before I introduce it to an established aquarium. If you have the option to quarantine your fish, obviously the longer that you do it, the better. And like I said, these guys are all doing well. The contents of this tank include some hillstream type loaches, some traditional type loaches slash botillas, a couple bottom dwelling catfish, and a couple really cool curious mud skippers. So like I said, I wanted to make sure these fish were in good health before I put them into my established aquarium. And what I'm going to show you guys today is obviously the process that I go through after scooping these fish. You know, I'm going to take them from this tank, put them in a pail, and I'm going to drip them. So as you can see, fish from this aquarium, and actually I'm going to take fish from, if you can see the second aquarium to the right, as you can see, I'll just zoom in on it. That's also a 5.5 gallon quarantine tank. So the fish actually that are in this aquarium have been in quarantine for probably 2 to 3 weeks longer than the others. So I figure, you know what, it's a good time to introduce everybody at the same time. And that tank included 3 whiptail cats, a few upside down catfish, and a couple Gara rufa. I did have a pike cichlid that was doing well. It seemed like he was doing quite well, and then one day I came home and he bit the biscuit. So it's better that something like that happens during the quarantine process instead of introducing something that's just not ready to go into an established aquarium. So let's scoop these fish up and bring them downstairs. So I've now caught all the fish and I put them into a single pail. As you notice, there's quite a number of fish, and also the water level in the pail is very low. I basically just took 2 scoops of water from both aquariums, and the reason for that is when you are adjusting fish through the drip method, you want to make sure the drip works efficiently and effectively. So if the pail itself was half full, you know, those little insignificant drops as they add up over the hours really would not make a big dent into the adjustment process. So that said, I plan on probably dripping these guys for about an hour. The water quality from the tanks that they're in to the one I have downstairs is probably very similar. The reason for that is when I do my water changes, I try to do them all at the same time. But again, the reason for the drip process, and the most important part of it, is not just to adjust for temperature, but most importantly to adjust for pH and water hardness. So that way when you introduce the new fish to the aquarium, they don't go in you know, and get all shocked and end up croaking on you. So if you have fish and you have time to adjust them properly, I'd recommend doing so. Let's scroll in on some of these guys. There's the group of upside down catfish, obviously. A number of the Baddock Zodiac loaches, the Hoplo cats. The whiptail cats are doing very well. They're going to be quite happy in this aquarium. There's one of the queen loach, actually the only queen loach. The other 2 made an escape and didn't come out too well, and that's unfortunate because these are a social fish. But I'll make sure I pick them up a couple buddies when I'm at my local fish shop next time. And it's nice to know that this variety of botilla, as you can see, I never knew that they were quite the escape artists, but as you can see with this guy indicating, you know, his attempt to get out of the pail, that's just a note for any of you guys purchasing this fish down the road. So make note, queen botillas, they like to get out. And a couple of the mud skippers there, doing quite well. Very cool fish, very happy with the pickup. The Gara rufa, the medicine fish, are doing nicely. And I have some of those Negra lineata and sumo loaches in there, if I haven't already mentioned it. So let's get these fish downstairs and start dripping. So we're going to go ahead and just start dripping the fish. As you can see, it's just a simple airline tube with a little simple airline adjuster at the end. And what that does, it just regulates the flow of the drip into the pail. And it works on a siphon process, so you just give it a quick suck and it starts dripping. So as you can see, that's a nice little steady drip flow there. And with the adjuster you can slow it down or you can turn it up. So this seems to be the drip rate I like, and I'm going to drip these guys for an hour, so I'll see you guys then. So now everybody's being introduced to the big tank. Give you guys a little scan of it. As you can see, it's 135 gallons, 6 feet long. So it's a huge upgrade to these little guys that have been in quarantine for a while. And I'm going to scroll in on some of them. I just threw some food in the tank to get them active. That's one of the porthole cats. Doing quite nicely. Some of these fish, you know, they went right into hiding, like some of the hillstream type loaches. So I figured, you know what, throw some food in there, get them to come out and show off for the camera. So here's one of the Baddock lookalikes, one of the Negra lineata, and these guys are quite communal. I have, I believe, 6 or 7 now in the tank, and basically when I introduced the new 3 to the group, they just all hung out and started schooling together. So I've noticed that that's some of the behavior I've already seen on the 3 that are already in the aquarium. But now I figure the schooling will be a little tighter with more individuals in the tank. Here is one of the sumo loaches. And these guys hide quite a bit underneath the rocks. But as you can see, there's that nice beautiful banding. Nice little red outline on the body. I think I put about 3 males into the tank and maybe a couple other females. So, ooh, there's the hillstream loach. And it's funny because I have a couple of these hillstream loaches in the tank, and one is very aggressive, and he really goes after these stir-bay cories that you see back here. I have a group of 3 of them, but really has no liking towards them. This is the medicine fish, Gararufa. See how he reacts to the hillstream. The hillstream's a little bit of a bully. He picks on who he can and ignores everybody he can't. Here's my older variety of mud skipper. Again, not the exact same variety that I just introduced. Here's the other guy. And I noticed the same thing in my quarantine tank. When I threw food into the tank, I feed a lot of decapsulized brine shrimp, and a lot of it tends to sit on the surface. And these guys will go right to the surface and start skimming it off the top. Again, really happy with the pickup of these guys. They seem to be very hardy and extremely entertaining. So if you ever see them in your local fish shop, make sure you pick up a pair or 3. You won't regret it. Queen Loach is back here. As you can see, that's some real beautiful banding on it. It's unfortunate about his 2 buddies. If they knew they were coming to this tank, I guarantee you they wouldn't have jumped ship. And a couple more of those Baddock lookalikes, and as you can see, the front loach is a Baddock. It's hard to see on this angle, but the first loach is a Baddock, and then there's that funny one behind it who comes from basically the same location. But as you can see, the banding doesn't go throughout the whole body. It's kind of spotted, so really cool fish. A little up close look at the queen. See if I can get a close-up on maybe a couple of the whiptails. I'm just kind of looking out through the tank. Here's the Negra lineata loaches. And like I said, I just threw some decapped brine shrimp into the tank, so everybody's going nuts for it. And one of the whiptails is in the corner back here. See if I can scroll in on it for you. Again, very camouflaged. This is one of the 3, and I'm sure they'll settle in quite well. I have some Royal Farlowellas in the tank, so they're very closely related to these guys, and they're doing really, really well. This tank is actually spotless. There doesn't seem to be much algae in the aquarium, and the tank's due for a cleaning. Here's one of the upside down catfish doing what they do, living life upside down. Lonely female beta. So basically that's the brood. Everybody's doing quite well, and without maybe some of the additions or maybe with some new additions of some plants. I'm thinking maybe putting a school of maybe 30 rummy nose into the tank, but then the tank would be complete. I just need these plants to grow out and fill up the tank, but overall I'm very happy with it. Like I said, you know, this was the Dovite tank for Dovite's tank for many years, but I'm happy to see that I filled it up with some fish that have become quite an interest, and it's been a good choice. So thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.